Hello and welcome back to another Tone Master Pro preset video. I'm John, and today we're going to be looking at Antisocial by Anthrax. This track's taken from the album State of Euphoria that was released in 1988. So let's jump into the signal chain. The first thing I have is a Green Box Overdrive, and I have the classic setup of level at 100% and overdrive at 0%. Tone is rolled back to 40%, and right now this effect is bypassed. I'll show you why in a second. Then we have the amp. Now, some people won't be very happy about this, but I've used the EVH 5153S 6L6 red channel. This amp didn't exist in 1988. The PV5150, I think, was released in 1992. So Scott Ian would have used a Marshall. In fact, I think he used modded Marshalls for quite a while, and then later on used amps like Randall. But I decided to give it a go with this amp. I really like this amp model. And what I have done is I've set the gain at 40%. I've got the volume halfway, and then I've maxed out the low and high. I have the mid back to 34% and the presence at 50%. The presence control on a 5150 amp is a bit weird. 50% you don't really get anything. It's not until you kind of max it out and around 80 or 90% when you start to see the difference. But I've decided to not do that with this amp and use EQs instead, which I will get to. For the speakers, I've used a British G65 4x12 cabinet, and I've also got a SM57 with a low cut of 120 Hz and a high cut of 6.8 Hz. The second cab is a British T75 that also has an SM57 on the cap. It also has a low cut of 120 Hz and a high cut of 6.8 kHz. Next is the pedal Detune, set to 25%, and this is also bypassed. Next we have the EQ5 graphic. As you can see, a little bit of bass taken and a little bit of 240 Hz boosted, and then 750 Hz has been reduced quite a bit, 2.2K up a little, and then 6.6K down a little bit too. The next effect is an EQ3 Parametric, and this is just taking a little bit of 200 Hz frequency out, which was booming a little bit, and so that's set with a Q of 1, and the mid is reduced at 7.7 decibels, and I'll show you the effect of doing that by turning it on and off in a moment. Then we have a large room reverb, but the reverb has been dialed back, so 15% mix, the decay is 34%, I've raised the damping to 65%, and the room size is only 26%. And finally, the memory delay. This is currently bypassed, and I will move on to that shortly. So, first up, I'm just going to turn some of these effects off. So with all the effects turned off, this is how the guitar sounds. I'm going to show you how each cab sounds individually. So this is the G65 speaker cab. And now this is the T75. And then I blend them at 60% for cab A and 40% cab B. So now I'm going to turn on the first EQ. And now I will turn on the second EQ. And now the reverb. Now this is really personal preference. Without the reverb, it's a really tight kind of sound. It gives it a bit of air around the guitar. I don't know, to me, without it, it's so dead that it sounds almost wrong. Personal preference, if you don't like the sound of it, then of course you can always disable that. So that is the rhythm tone, and then I have a foot switch assigned, which is lead. And the lead is just a simple multi on-off, and it will turn off the EQ3 parametric, it will turn off the reverb, and switch on the delay, the pedal detune, and the overdrive pedal. Just to show you without the pedal detune. You can hear it totally makes the lead sound. And of course, without the delay, it just isn't the same either. So obviously this is meant for the song Antisocial, but I found that it's actually pretty good for some of the other Anthrax tunes as well, like I Am the Law, for instance. Okay, I'm uploading it to the cloud right now. It's called JGG Anthrax Antisocial. I hope you enjoyed this preset. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. No! Son of a